Thank you so much for that warm introduction, and good morning, everybody. I was really very excited to come. I actually couldn't wait to come here because there are no two countries that have a closer relationship than the UK and the United States. And I really felt obligated to share with you what we're doing and what we're struggling with, except I almost didn't come because, and you're going to be a little upset with me, I was a little disappointed in you all. Couldn't you have done something about the Ryder Cup? I mean, come on. You know we've been having a rough time in the States. We needed something, all right? When I told my wife I was coming here, she said to me, so Geoff, you're friends with President Obama and he's an education reformer. And I said, that's exactly right. And he's a Democrat. I said, that's right. And Mayor Bloomberg in New York City, he's an independent. And you're friends with him. And I said, that's right, honey, that's right. She said, and just last week, you were with the Republican governor of Newark, Governor Christie. And you say he's your friend also. I said, that's right, honey, that's right. She said, so please explain the Conservative Party to me. I said, well, I hear they're education reformers, and if they are, I'm going to have a bunch of new friends in the UK. So here's why everybody in America is upset with me. I have been making sure our nation knows that we have lost our way, that we have allowed our country, the last remaining superpower on the face of the earth, to offer our children a third world education system. We have failed. We are not in the top 10. In many cases, we're not even in the top 20. If you look down the road and you say, what is going on in the US, you see a nation in decline that is quietly allowing itself to deteriorate because it will not face some tough truths. The fact of the matter is, we have mishandled the education system in our country. And now we are at a fork in the road. And I am determined, even if the right, the left, the conservatives, the liberals, even if they all are angry at me, I am simply going to tell the truth. If you have a system that is failing your children, there is no way that you will remain a great power if you allow your children to get an inferior education. Now, I know that you all here recognize that we're in a different economy than we've ever had before. In the States, we didn't have to educate all of our children. We always could assume our kids were going to go into factories and they were going to have these sort of jobs. That is gone. It is never coming back. The only choice we have is a higher standard of education, and this is the problem. We have failed our children in large numbers miserably. And what we've done in the United States, and I warn you, I will warn you that this will be your future. We've decided we will not educate these kids, and when they cannot work, we will simply build enough jails and prisons to keep these kids incarcerated. And in the US, in the United States, we have the highest per capita incarceration rate on the face of the earth. We have more than 2.3 million of our citizens in jail. The last data we have, we spent more than $68 billion on incarceration. And it is an absolute sin, because what do you get when you send someone away to jail for 10 years? Do they come out and pay taxes? No. Do they come out and take care of their families? No. Do they contribute in any way to growing the economy? The answer to that is no. It is a total waste. It cost us $35,000 a year in New York State to incarcerate someone, and we are prepared to spend as much money as we have to on a system that produces no results. I say, why not educate the children in the first place and let them get jobs so they can compete? Now, people in the States say I'm a radical. At Canada, he's a radical guy. Because I say things like this. Where I went to school in New York City, it was a very poor area filled with children who were African American and Latino. When I went to school, I'm 58. 53 years ago, the schools were lousy. Today, the schools are lousy. All right? 53 years, all those generations. And what has been the consequence of that failure? Has anyone changed anything? Has one thing changed? The same way they were educating kids when I was in school, they're educating kids today, even though it hasn't worked for 53 years. I say it is time to try something different, right? We have to open up education and try some new approaches. So, here's another thing that gets me in trouble all over the state, so I might as well start a new country to get in trouble with. I say this thing, it is a radical thing. If we know a teacher cannot teach, and we can prove that, then that person should go into a different career path. I know that seems People are really upset with this, but here's the thing in the States. In the States, we have education philosophers, and they honestly believe you can change anything in education as long as you change nothing at all, right? So we spend our time talking about all the things that if you change it doesn't mean anything. But the substantial changes, can we reward teachers who are doing great work? Can we get rid of teachers who cannot teach? Can we make a longer school day and a longer school year? Can we actually create innovation so that we can see what needs to happen in schools for children to learn? All of a sudden, people think those are radical ideas. So you can't say stuff like that. I mean, it's like, how dare you, Geoff? And I'm sitting there thinking, look, if there was something less at stake than the fate of our nation, maybe I would be cowered into silence. People have intimidated folk who have brought up these issues. They have pushed them to the fringes. They have made them into a radical, extreme group. And the truth of the matter is, education is the only billion-dollar industry that tolerates abject failure. There is no downside for failure at all. Any other business that failed for 50 years would be out of business. But schools, there's never, no matter how much you fail, you will not go out of business. So we've set up a plan. We believe that you have to not just focus on schools. You've got to certainly allow schools to reform, but we've got to get everybody in the community engaged and involved. And so we believe you have to go out and organize the parents and the other folks in the community to get them involved. We believe you start with kids at birth and you stay with those kids until they graduate school, so you make sure these kids learn. And we believe in using real data and real accountability. Now, when you want to know what I consider real accountability, this is accountability in the Harlem Children's Zone. When we started our schools in Harlem, I said to our mayor and I said to the chancellor of our schools, and I said to my board of trustees, if I don't have a better school in 5 years than all the other public schools in Harlem, I'm going to fire myself. That's what I said. When I said that, people got their paper. I said, what year is it? What did he say? 5 years, right? And then when everybody left, I got my staff there. I said, but you all know I'm the last one leaving. All right? There is real accountability there. Okay? There is real accountability. Because after all, if failure is tolerated and it has been expected for decades, what makes us think that the adults are suddenly going to change their behavior? We know in my business, if we fail, there is a consequence. And so we don't tolerate failure. We will do whatever it takes for our children to succeed because we know the bottom line is if our kids don't do well, neither do we. And you shouldn't have a system where kids can fail and there's no consequence at all on the schools and on the adults. That is a system that has failed us. So we have decided that we're going to take this new approach. And I'm here today to say to you that in the end, I have been taught that if you love your country, if you're truly a patriot, then you have to be prepared to sacrifice. And I think as a nation, we have become weak and soft. The kind of sacrifice I'm talking about for our children is you have to stand up, you have to vote the right way, you have to say the right thing, you have to stand up to the special interest, you have to put your nation's children before any other interest, and then you have to say to everybody, if you care about this nation, you will do right by its children, you will educate all of these children. I have made that a promise to my kids. I've made a promise that I will say what I need to say in my nation to wake my nation up and make sure we stand up and become a great nation again because we've educated our children. And I'm saying that to my new friends today, stand up for education. Thank you very much.